I've been following Depp vs. Heard, and one thing I've always thought that I know a lot of people have thought is how come there are some people who defend Amber even though they know she's wrong, or most likely she's wrong about pretty much everything. And I think this person here gives an insight to what could be an answer. Now, obviously, I know there's a political side of the aisle who has to take Amber's side. They think they have morals, they virtue signal, and things like that. But this isn't quite what that's about. So this tweeter here says, if I could say tweeter as a Twitter user, says, Johnny Depp single-handedly broke the Me Too Believe All Women stigma that took the world after the Weinstein incident. That is why the feminists are pissed off and side with AH, not because they actually believe her, it's because it questioned and rocked their movement. So yeah, also hashtag truth. And that's something I don't think I really took as heavily as I was covering this case over the last 2 years or whatever, is that the narrative is pretty important to some people. If you really believe a narrative is doing overall good for people, you might say, well, that's too bad about Johnny. Maybe they even like him and all that. But, if they believe and they've bought into this, that they're actually going to be saving victims if justice comes to Johnny, which it did obviously, but talking about at that time, if Johnny gets justice, they're like, well, now these victims will be hurt. They kind of look at Johnny as a sacrifice and something worth it, which is obviously not right. I even get it sometimes. All right, you know what? If the occasional person doesn't come out because they think they're going to go to court or something like that, or they think about this case, it is what it is. That's it. I mean, you can't do an injustice to somebody to save other people because justice has to be served when the truth comes out. And I think that's what these people here who are on Amber's side don't understand. And then she continues, no matter whose life she ruined, Amber Heard wanted to be the poster child for the Me Too movement and ACLU. Praised for what she went through, seen as a strong survivor who spoke up for all women, to be seen as a goddess to the DV community. She does not speak for us. Hashtag truth. And that's another thing. She's thinking, well, I'm married to pretty much one of the top 5 actors, one of the top 10, 15 famous people in the world. So if I do this, I come out with this, it's going to be phenomenal. She knew she would get all this attention, all these views, all that kind of thing. I mean, anyone who says, well, leave Amber alone, she shouldn't be getting this backlash, all this, she knew exactly the magnitude that was going to come out. Well, not exactly. I mean, no one did, but she had a very good idea. There would be a huge amount of people who opposed what she was doing because, after all, she didn't have the evidence. She didn't have the receipts. This person says it should never have broken the movement, and justice movement needs mechanisms for recognizing fact from fiction. Me Too didn't and has done nothing since to fix that. A social justice movement that can't address its own injustice doesn't work. Yeah, absolutely. And Catherine says, the problem is that Women's March and Dr. Proudman are exactly like Amber Heard. They saw an opportunity for power, influence, and probably bucket loads of cash to practice their misandry, and they took it. The most vocal are never the victims. And yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I'm sure there's exceptions. There's different personalities, different people, different vocal levels, and things like that. But in general, it seems like the real victims would be cool, under control, and just want to talk about the facts and prove their case and not throw their face literally everywhere. And Demon Barber says they could have denounced her and moved forward. Their insistence in standing behind an abuser because the abuser is a woman exposes them as the frauds they are. They don't care about victims at all. Their agenda is female takeover. Women's March. Dr. Proudman was tagged in there, not as a compliment, but in case they want to check out that opinion. And Book Lover says, I've never heard it said like this before, but it makes a lot of sense. Heard should be punished for this because it's not funny at all. A lot of women have it really bad when it comes to DV. She should be ashamed of doing something so catastrophic, disgusting. You get a heart. And this person, Maria, says, as someone who supports Johnny Depp because it's clear he was the victim, I have to say, please, please stop labeling the people who side with AH as feminists. They may call themselves such, but they're not. True feminists support domestic abuse survivors regardless of gender. Which is absolutely true, and I've been here on this channel with that for quite a while now, and unfortunately, what I keep telling people who are good feminists is that they've hijacked your word. They're using that word feminist for their own agenda and narrative, and they've taken it from you, and now you're perceived by some people, by simply being a feminist, as bad. I mean, the truth is, most people are feminists in a way. Most people want to see women successful, treated equal, and all that kind of thing. But some of them are hypersensitive and overanalyze. So I keep saying, since words keep taking new meanings these days, you're going to need new words to identify as. If they've taken it, if it's really in their control and beyond getting back in any way, then we kind of need new terms here. Anyway, I'm on Twitter too. Maybe give me a follow. Trying to get up to 3,000 just for the heck of it. Why not? And since Musk bought it, my followers have been increasing just a slight bit for whatever reason. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, consider it. And if you don't subscribe, I'll be sad, but I'll get over it. See you next time.